Am I the asshole service dog had to act like it's in public? Throwaway. Next weekend, I am hosting a party for my 4-year-old son, and extended family are invited. One family member has a service dog. I don't like dogs. They brought up the service dog coming, and I okayed it, but I laid out some rules. Basically, they had to act like they were going to a public place. No going to the bathroom, no feeding it, stays off furniture, no being loose and playing, no barking. I told them I expected it to act like it was working the entire time. Officially on the invite, this was a 2-hour party. Then I expected most people to leave. This family member has told me this is ridiculous, and I'm an asshole. They expected more from family, and these rules were absurd. They declined the invitation and communicated they declined to other families. It's caused drama, and I've been hearing it from others. Am I the asshole? ETA, to clarify, I'm willing to accommodate a service dog, not a pet. Prior family members have been okay with the dog having off time and running around a yard, for example. I don't want that. No going to the bathroom. So, you don't go to the bathroom while you're at work? Damn, Opie, your kidneys must be wrecked. You are the asshole. An actual service dog does none of those things anyway. Only someone with an emotional support dog that isn't well trained would have a problem with these rules. ETA judgment, not the asshole. If it's an actual service dog, it should be on duty when it's in public anyway. The only unreasonable ask is the bathroom thing. Service dogs need to pee just like everyone else. You could have asked to bring a puppy pad and have it go there. If you didn't have any experience of the dog misbehaving, then I think your tone was antagonistic. If the dog has misbehaved at family gatherings before, you're fine. The general tone and content of your post is very assholish. 2-hour party time limit. Who does that? Don't like dogs, so you come up with a rule that the service animal can't pee. No wonder the other invitees are talking about you. Info, has this service dog acted poorly at functions in the past? If it has, I understand why you felt the need to clarify what is okay at your house. But if it hasn't, yeah, you were super fucking rude and a major asshole. You are the asshole. The resentment about the poor service dog and family member who depends on it is dripping from your post. Am I the asshole for siding with my daughter during an argument? Throwaway. Her mother and stepfather recently moved out of the country for business, and she chose to stay with me. Before that, we did 50-50ths. I met my wife a few years ago, and she's been a great stepmother. She and my daughter get along well. My wife and I have a son, 6 male. He adores his older sister, and she adores him. I honestly don't know what's wrong with my wife, but recently she's been acting strangely around my daughter. The main issue started last night. My daughter was playing with my son. It was rough, but my son likes that. Anyway, they were playing in the living room while I was washing dishes. Then I hear my wife arguing quite loudly, so I stopped to check. I stepped between them and asked what happened, and my daughter said she and my son were playing until my wife came into the room and started yelling at her for being rough with him. My daughter said she apologized and said she'd be more gentle, but then my son said no, and my daughter told him sorry, but your mommy said no. Then my wife started yelling at her about how she's being disrespectful, etc. I asked my wife if this was true, and she got defensive. She yelled about how I'm making her look like a lunatic and showing my daughter it's okay to treat her anyhow. I was kind of fed up and told her to go calm down and talk to me when she wants to act like an adult, and now she hasn't spoken to me all day. Was I the holy? Edit to add, my son is 6 years old. Not 6 months, and my daughter is 16 female. I was trying to keep to the character limit. Not the asshole. Sounds like your wife doesn't like your daughter and resents the fact that she's now living with you full time. I think she's just looking for things to argue about. Not the asshole. Your wife was acting like a child. The kids were playing maybe a bit rough, but no one getting hurt. She had no reason to act that way. Need to sit down and have a talk about why she's upset about the way they are playing together. So I have this correct. Daughter is playing with son, roughhousing. Wife comes in and tells her to stop. Son wants to keep roughhousing. Daughter says no. Mom says we can't anymore. Wife gets mad because daughter is being disrespectful by doing what she asked. This is kind of insane. Not the asshole on all levels. What exactly is wrong with your wife? Not the asshole. Arrange a babysitter for your younger child and sit down with your wife. Tell her you have noticed that her behavior has changed towards your daughter and ask why. If she says she hasn't changed, don't accept that. Say, I'm not asking if it has. I have seen that it has. I am asking why. And if you have a need that isn't being met or a worry we need to address. I am your partner, your husband. I am here for you and not going anywhere. I need you to be honest with me and yourself. What is going on? Info. Is your wife unhappy about the living situation? This seems like a symptom of a larger issue. Not the asshole. I strongly suggest family therapy or counseling though. It's clearly needed, and things will only continue to get worse if things aren't fixed. Am I the asshole for not giving a discount to a kid? I, 26 female, was vending at a local craft fair last weekend. I make little crochet dolls and accessories, and they've been pretty popular with my friends/acquaintances, so I thought I'd try selling them for once and see if I liked it. I price everything pretty cheap all things considered, and I mostly just wanted to make enough to cover my table fee and maybe get a nice lunch after. I usually just give my stuff away, so my friends had to kind of push me to price things appropriately at all LOL. I had a pretty straightforward display with all the prices on signs in front of the items. Around halfway through the day, a dad and his kid, around 8 maybe, were lingering around my area of the craft fair and looking over. I'd seen them walk past my table and look a few times, but I didn't want to be a pushy salesperson, so I just smiled and kept busy crocheting in my lap. After a while, when the kid finally came up and asked for one of the dolls on display, I told her the price, and she handed me a few bills that were maybe 1/3 of the price, and said that was all she had. I was tempted to just let her have it, but there was a lot of time left at the fair to sell things to people at full price. And I thought it was kind of weird that her dad had seemingly told her to haggle with me that low when my prices are low already. So I just told her that sorry, it's the price on the sign, and she got upset and said that she really wanted it. I told her the doll costs more than what she has and handed her the money back. She whined a bit and ran back to her dad. He came up and asked me if I was really not going to let a little girl have a doll and that my prices were ridiculous. I didn't really know what to say, so I just kind of stared awkwardly for a moment before repeating that the prices are on the signs and apologizing again. He kind of grumbled that I was ridiculous again, and him and his kid walked off. They kept passing by for like an hour after and glaring at me. And before they left, the dad came up again and asked me if I ever made any sales with this kind of business practice. I didn't want to argue with him anymore, so I just kind of ignored him and smiled at someone else walking by. He stood there glaring at me for a really long minute, and then just stomped off. I feel like an asshole because under normal circumstances, I do just give away my stuff. And if it had been closer to the end of the day, I might have been more open to haggling, just to have less stuff to take home. But I didn't like that the kid seemed to kind of expect I'd just give her my hard work for less without a reason, and like. Her dad could have forked over the rest of the money if he really wanted her to have the doll. At the same time, though, I kind of priced things with the hope that anybody who really wanted something could probably afford it, and I wasn't exactly out with the goal of making a ton of money, so I felt like I was being kind of inconsistent with telling her no on principle. Not the asshole. But you really need to learn to trust yourself so much more than this. A single glowering dude shouldn't trigger this level of an existential crisis. You make stuff. That costs you time and material. Selling it has other overhead. If you are not covering your costs and time, you're doing it wrong. Not the asshole. He was using his kid's emotions as a weapon to get an item for way less than its actual value. He probably pulled that same crap with multiple vendors at the same show you were at. Your labor has value, and you already know her dad sent her over with way less than the list price. Don't feel bad. He's a scammer that thinks he's haggling. I bet he doesn't think his own personal labor should be worth 1/3 just because someone else wants it to be. Not the asshole. Go to Walmart and try to pay 1/3 of what something costs and see what happens. Kid's dad is the asshole for using the kid to try and manipulate you into a lower price. Sell your stuff for what you think is fair. People can buy it, or not. Not the asshole. I've run into those dads who pull that scam before. I'm only surprised he didn't demand a free one. He has the money. He just thinks you look like a good target for bullying. Not the asshole. One crafter to another, don't ever shortchange yourself. A lot of hard work goes into those items, hours of work at the least. Most importantly, don't let anyone talk down to you like that. Next time, tell the parent politely. You buy the materials needed, I'll teach you how to do the craft, then you tell me if my prices are too high. Also, if they try to lowball you, if your price is $25, just an example, and they say I'll give you $5 for it, come back with, because you made that offer, I'll let you have it now for no less than $45. Not the asshole. Why didn't Dad open his wallet to pay the difference? Your price is your price. Am I the asshole for taking a child's toys away for the afternoon? I'm a 25F and currently live with my aunt, her husband and 2 kids, 16 and 3. The 3 years old is potentially on the spectrum, but my aunt keeps putting off getting him evaluated. He's obsessed with cars, trains, and dinosaurs at the moment, and has a wooden train set with tracks. He has a habit of trying to roll them on his play rug instead of the tracks, and we have tile floors. So, when his trains roll over the grout, they tend to fall over, and when they do, he gets upset, really upset. He tends to make noises when he's upset, but God, when the trains fall. It's not a grunt or a pout. He screams loud and shrill. And he'll do it over and over and over again. Even if we put the trains on the track, he'll put them back on floor, and the cycle repeats. I was watching him, and he had a particularly rough day, especially with his train. So, after I put him down for his afternoon nap, I took his train and track buckets and locked them away in a cabinet for the rest of the afternoon until his mother got home, which was only another 2-3 hours. I told her what happened after she asked why I took his toys as I was bringing them out to put them away. His toy cupboard, and I told her. I tried everything, helping him fix it, redirection, telling him to stop screaming, but nothing was working. So yes, I got fed up and took his toys for the afternoon. He honestly wasn't even affected by it, and spent the afternoon playing with his dinosaurs and magnets instead. She thinks it was an asshole move to resort to hiding his toys from him, but what else was I supposed to do? I sure as hell wasn't going to sit there and listen to him scream all day, because he won't just pick the trains up and keep them on the track. I love her kids, I really do, but there's nothing I hate more than hearing a child scream, especially that constantly. Looking back, I do feel bad, but I'd exhausted all my other options and wasn't going to fight fire with fire by yelling at him, because what example does that set? That I can yell and scream, but he can't? Not the asshole. The trains were causing him stress, and you eliminated that stress in a gentle way for him. If he woke up from a nap and was fine without the trains, you helped him. Also, it's okay to not want to listen to constant screams or racket. Not the asshole, especially given that you waited for nap time and saw that he was happy with his other toys. Redirecting a child who is having trouble regulating themselves is genuinely a great method. You did great. Your aunt and uncle, OTOH, are true AHs for refusing to do right by him and get him evaluated, and for not helping him learn to regulate his emotions. Not the asshole. Your title is misleading. You hid the toys that were triggering a special needs child, and the redirection worked. The kid was happy playing with other toys. You did what was necessary to keep a kid happy while babysitting. Your aunt is nuts for picking on you about this. Not the asshole. The kid obviously redirected after the nap just fine. Out of sight, out of mind is always a good option. You didn't take the toys, you just put them away, so he wouldn't fixate on them after his nap. This works. Why would she think this was an asshole move? I used to do this with my son as a baby/toddler all the time. Sometimes he would notice and look around, but not finding it right away would go play with something in front of him. Not the asshole. I've done similar with my own toddler. It's a form of redirection, and you even did so while he was napping. There's a decent chance he only briefly realized they were missing before moving on to more productive play, and by that I mean play that isn't upsetting him. Do you know how many times I've taken a slide whistle from my own child and hidden it for days? Not the asshole.